It's a rematch of fan favorites. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie to help you break down a 5-round special attraction at UFC 266 between Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. The first time these two met was back at UFC 47 17 years ago, where Nick Diaz walked away with a second round KO victory. Of course, that was a battle between two southpaws, and as I always state in my breakdowns where you can find unique southpaw stats that you usually can't find anywhere else, I always say that not always does the better on paper striker win when two lefties get together, as they primarily predicate their games against orthodox opposition. So when you look at Lawler's record against southpaws, he's got a bit of a mixed bag at 4-4 officially against the UFC level ones, whereas Diaz officially sits at 3-2 with 2 no contests. However, with those 2 no contests being for marijuana, we can call it for what it is, and Nick Diaz probably would be at 4-3 officially. So again, a mixed bag for him too. Of course, the intangibles don't stop there, which make it harder to call, as Nick Diaz will be coming off a whopper of an 80-month layoff, where Lawler, he still is a bit of flag attached to him, although not as big at 13 months. Now, in my recent studies since 2013, I've noted that fighters coming off year-plus layoffs are actually technically winning more than they're losing. They're still ranking in at the mid-50 to high 59 percentiles in my recordings, whereas fighters with the 4 to 5 plus year layoff, that's going to be Diaz's category, well, it's a skewed sample size. That being said, it still is a bit higher for whatever that's worth, in the mid 60 to high 60 percentile, so roughly almost 10 percentile higher with the winning rate. Now, perhaps those are influencing the odds, as at the time of this video, the odds makers are actually currently having Lawler at just a minus 118 favorite, despite opening at minus 250, which means there is technically no longer a plus number unless you shop around for Nick Diaz, who is currently sitting at minus 104. So pretty much we are headed in the direction of a pick'em. Now, if you want to go with a more active fighter and what logic is telling you, and just from a value perspective perhaps, well, you're getting a big discount on ruthless Robbie Lawler. He is a former champion of this division, whereas Nick Diaz came up short, but not all these things necessarily matter, nor do they match up head to head. Now for me, this is obviously just going to come down to styles. That's where I try to keep it simple. Variables and intangibles can get really crazy in this game, especially in a matchup like this. So essentially, I just think we have a more technical, a more volatile version of the match before. Both fighters are still who they are. They just weren't as developed back then. I still believe Robbie Lawler was still a counterpuncher then, as he is a counterpuncher now, obviously a more developed one. Whereas Nick Diaz had that pressure volume style. He has obviously crafted his boxing much more since then. But at the root of it, I think the dynamic is the same. So, unless Robbie Lawler can find early success and knock out Nick Diaz, who aside from Jeremy Jackson, he's only been stopped by a cut, well, I think that Nick Diaz can run away with this thing. Now, between their condition, their age, Nick probably taking the first couple rounds to get his feet under him, whereas Lawler, his volume has really went down, and it's been pretty disturbing. That's actually going to lead me to more Nick Diaz's side by decision here. Now, any outcome really shouldn't surprise anybody here, but I'm going to lay out why in my in-depth breakdown over at MMAJunkie.com, where you can find stats, gifts, and path to victories for both men. But the official prediction, as of now, is going to be Diaz by decision. See you this Saturday.